Hi, welcome back to ukuleleforteachers.com. I haven't posted a new video in quite a while here, especially specifically related to ukulele. But recently, some of my previous videos have had some comments asking for some updates on some things that I had posted earlier. One of those had to do with humidifiers for instruments. Now, this little design that I came up with for humidifiers for ukuleles, could also of course work for guitars, was originally designed as an idea to be able to handle a large set of classroom instruments. If you go and buy one of the branded retail humidifiers, you can easily spend $10 to $20 per humidifier. That can be a problem. So I figured out a way to be able to provide humidifiers for every single one of my instruments for about the same cost as it might have been for me to purchase two of the retail ones. So I'm going to go through the basic design of this again for you. I'll show you also how I handle this in the classroom, because the students are responsible for putting these in and taking them out at the beginning and end of class. Now, the design. What I did was got a whole bunch of these plastic test tube type of things. You can get them on Amazon. I'll list the prices on my website, but I want to say it was around $15 for 100 of these, maybe less. I can't recall exactly. But I got ones with twist on tops. One way or the other, though, we're going to have to glue this on so it doesn't come off while it's being refilled or while it's in the instrument or being transferred, etc. So I would imagine ones that have like a push-in thing, as long as you glued it securely, could be fine. You're going to need to have some sort of string. I've got a lot of spare fishing line laying around from a time where I was experimenting using fishing line for ukulele strings. Yeah, I did such a thing. But also, this is a nice way to get your community involved. I guarantee there's parents of students who have a lot of spare fishing line laying around. The main thing, though, is these water beads. Yes, they're the same thing as Orbeez. I wouldn't spend the money on the Orbeez. You can get this whole thing for about $8 on Amazon, and it will last you way longer than you ever need. This is the original one I bought. I've probably made about 100 of these humidifiers, and you can see there's still plenty left in here. The newest thing that I've added is the addition of a button to keep the humidifier from falling into the instrument. Next thing you're going to have to do is pull out your drill and start putting holes through that test tube. Now, you also will need, and there's no particular pattern that I'm following here, not purposely anyway, just kind of put them around in a way that seems like it's pretty evenly distributed. And then you do need to have one right on the cap. Then, with those wooden buttons or whatever buttons you end up using, these are 2-inch buttons, I put another hole through the center of this. Then it's just assembling it. As far as the amount of water beads you put in, I have a very precise method of measuring, and it comes out to right about, that looks right. I'm going to take the string, put it through the hole here, simply tie a knot, maybe double knot it. And this is just to keep it from slipping through. Sometimes if I have some spare beads laying around, I might thread a bead there just to ensure it's not going to slip through. But honestly, I've never had one slip through, even when I don't use a bead. Because the next step, you're going to actually glue that into place. And then that just kind of, again, the only purpose of that is to hold it from slipping in. If I've got a hot glue gun available, I'll usually use this, though you can also use just super glue. And then I'm also going to put glue into the threaded area of the cap so that when I put the cap back on, it's going to end up gluing the whole cap onto the test tube. Now, It is important at this point to keep it upright. You don't want the water beads actually falling into the glue and then forever remaining glued up there. But again, if it happens, it happens. It's not going to be a big deal one way or the other. Okay. Then you're going to figure out how long you want it to be. Again, I'm being very scientific. Yeah, it looks about right. And then you're going to do the same thing up here. Again, oftentimes I'll use a bead on either side just to keep it from slipping back and forth, but that's up to you. When you finished that, it'll end up, once you put it into the instrument, you can see this very neat glue job I've got going on here. And it's just there to keep it from falling all the way into the instrument. So when the students get their instruments, these are all in there already. They just know they get their instrument off the wall, they pull this out, and then they go over to a little table I have in my classroom. And I was able to get this test tube holder from our science department. They weren't using them anymore, and so I took them, and with their permission, of course, and I just took one of those plastic storage boxes that you can get at a dollar store or whatever, and I fill it halfway with water, and so when they get their instrument, they pull this out, they go over to that table, they drop it into there, so during class then it recharges, and then after class, when it's time for them to put away their instrument, they go, they grab a humidifier, doesn't matter if it's theirs or if a different one, just any one of them, and then they just put it back into the instrument at the end of class, and that's their responsibility then. It's really as simple as that. It saves a whole lot of money if you've got the time to do it, and it doesn't even require a whole lot of skill with tools or the like. As long as you can drill these test tubes without, putting the drill through your hand, you can do this. All right. Enjoy. I hope it helps. Those of you guys who might not have a classroom full of instruments, but you're looking for a cheap way to put humidifiers in a number of your personal instruments. Again, for the material cost of this is about the same as like 2 of those Damp It humidifiers, and it's going to you'll be able to make at least likely close to 100 of these, depending on what buttons you get and the like. So enjoy. Let me know how it turns out.